So tell me about the process for this album. I know your process was different. This time you went back to writing lyrics out in the notepad as opposed to typing them. So what did that contribute to your process this time, physically writing out lyrics?
I read a book. I didn't read it all the way, but I got enough from it that I needed. It's called The Artist's Way, and it's all about, it's for artists, any artist, writer, actor, you know, whatever you do, whatever your creative medium is, it's for like blocked artists. And so about a year into making the album, I had all this incredible material. I was flowing out, like it was flowing like a floodgate, but it hit a point where it's like, it stopped, you know what I mean? I'm like, it was too much, going to the studio was too much pressure. The people in the studio was bothering me, like, yo, why y'all around right now? Y'all messing my vibe up. So I needed to just get away, and I got this book. I don't know how I found out about this book. It just found me.
Word.
And I read it, and one thing it talked about was, it talked about 3 pages a day. It was like your morning pages. And basically what it wants you to do is to wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do when you wake up is you write 3 pages, freehand, nonstop. You can't stop. You have to write the first thing to come in your head. So you're like, oh man, I'm wearing a white shirt, need a shower, I stink, went out last night, blah, 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 red pen, anything that comes to your mind. And that's how I got back into writing, and you know what I mean? And that opened up a lot of things. And I realized I like writing stuff down better. You know what I mean? You get so comfortable because you could be in a club or be on the bus and you can just type in your phone a line that comes to your head, but there's something more intimate about writing it down. So when I was reading that book and going through that, that's when I started to reappreciate writing stuff down, because I got notebooks and notebooks full of lyrics, and it's like, I also got a BlackBerry full of notes, you know what I mean? And I just enjoy, it feels more, it reminds me of when I was a kid, you know what I mean?
What else did you do this time around that was different from the first album process?
This one was the first time it felt like I was working on an album. First album didn't feel like I was working on an album. It felt like I was piecing together things and like, okay, warm up. Let's take some of these songs and put them on a warm up. I Get Up, Lights Please, you know what I mean? Some of these songs that I had for the albums, like let's put these on a warm up. And it was like, still working, building the stack back up, and it's like, man, we need to put something out. We ain't got no album coming yet, no album release date. Friday Night Lights, here, boom. You know what I mean? Okay, now what we left with? Okay, let's make another thing. It was piecing together. Now on this album, I started with nothing. You know what I mean? I had songs, but I wasn't relying on those. I was like, nah, let's start with nothing. And I literally started from scratch. The next thing you know, I got 9 songs, 10 songs. You know what I mean? And it was just a more organic feeling. It felt like I was working on an album.
I've started to notice like a threaded theme in your career, from the J. Cole logo with the halo and the horn to like there's like a recurring theme of this good versus evil like battle. Why do you identify with that so much?
Duality, man. It just goes back before I was even conscious of it, to just being half black, half white. You know what I mean? My mother being white, but I look black, you know what I mean? So she's the only white lady in church, in an all-black church, and I'm probably more worried than her. I'm like, man, don't she know she's the only white lady walking around this church? You know what I mean? So from those things, living and existing in 2 different worlds at the same time, being in all the honors classes and AP classes, but all my friends was just like over there, you know what I mean? I always existed in like 2 worlds, being in my private time. I listened to, you know, I grew up on like, I was playing Criss Cross, Keith Sweat, Bobby Brown, but they hit a point, and I was a big Tupac fan, but it hit a point where I was even into like underground music, like underground hip hop, like nerd rap, you know what I mean? Like stuff that only the rap nerds are really gonna care about, you know what I'm saying? And so loving that stuff, but also going to like the teen clubs or to just out with my friends and playing like 3 6 Mafia, you know what I'm saying? And Lil Jon, things that were so opposite of what I was listening to like in the crib, like listening to the samples, like, oh, he sampled that. And then to go out and like, when I say we, you say, you know what I mean? That was 3 6. So I always existed in them 2 worlds, and I feel like that's why it's been there from the beginning. Like I walk this line, you know, I try to represent the balance, I guess.